confidence is a skill, right? You build it. You build it by doing the things you think you can't. You build it by taking chances. You build it from the inside out. And I think it's so important that we remind ourselves of that all the time. So with our new podcast, we are going to be talking about confidence on every episode and tips and tricks to help you really think about that on a regular basis. And confidence isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about that inner calmness that you have, it's the inner confidence that you're unshakable.
Yeah.
Welcome to Her Unshakable Confidence with dynamic mother-daughter duo Simone and Olivia Knego, where they discuss the secrets of transformation and how to build bold confidence and unwavering resilience. From intimate conversations with inspiring guests to sharing their personal journeys of triumph and challenge, Simone and Olivia create a supportive space where every woman is encouraged to rise above her fears and love the woman in the mirror. Tune into Her Unshakable Confidence and join this special journey of connection and growth. It's like catching up with old friends who inspire you to be bravely and uniquely you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode, our first official episode of Her Unshakable Confidence. I'm Simone Knego.
And I'm Olivia Knego.
And we are so excited to be here. And we are so excited for our rebrand because this is what we talk about. We talk about helping women build confidence. We talk about the struggles that we have. And so we really thought that it was important to change the name of the podcast. And here we are. So this is our first time with this new name, but the content, a lot of it will stay the same. We're going to add a little bit more each time about tips on building confidence. But in general, you're still going to be seeing us every other week. And we'll have a guest every other week as well.
Yeah. Nothing's changing, just the name and the vibes.
Vibes. The confidence vibes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about celebrating wins right now, because I think this is a big win for us. I think that this is episode 58. So we are being super consistent. We're dropping an episode every week. I think that's a big win.
Yeah, I think it's pretty nice.
Most podcasts don't even make it to I think 3 episodes, maybe 30 episodes, whatever it is. It had a 3 in it. But it's a big commitment.
We're past the margin. Yeah, it is a big commitment. I mean, besides scheduling time to just record, it's all things that go along with recording. And it's hard, especially when you got so many other things happening in life.
For sure. And talking about other things that you have going on in life, I mean, that's another big win we're celebrating right now. What's going on with you?
I just finished law school orientation.
Let's sound excited about it.
I am excited about it. I'm excited for classes to actually start, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'm excited though. It's a lot, but I'm excited.
I'm taking this class. I'm taking a wine class. Is anybody surprised? It's called WSET.
I thought you were doing that.
Yeah, I know. And so it's going to be a lot of work. I haven't started. Your dad has been really consistent on it. I haven't started yet. It's in October where we have to study ahead of time, and then we do a 2-day in-person tasting different wines. And I got to study because I know I like wine, but I don't know the differences. So anyways, that is something that I'm going to be celebrating that win if I can get the work done. But right now it looks like overwhelmingly amount of work.
What is the work?
There's
just tasting wines?
No, see, this is what you think. There is an entire book, there's a workbook, there's a whole online course that you have to go through, and you have to know all these different things. You have to know the different areas that wine comes from and the different kinds of grapes and where those grapes grow and the different kind of terroir, how do you say it? The land. And you have to know all of these different, and then the different kinds of wines when they mix the grapes differently. That's a lot.
Why'd you commit to it then?
Because your dad wanted to do it. I thought it would be something nice to do together.
But you guys aren't doing it together.
Well, we will be.
Okay.
I'm a little slow right now because I was working on my speech. So now that my speech is I think my speech is really solid right now. So I can start working on wine. Maybe I'll taste some later today. Who knows? Oh,
Oh,
you
it's
know.
funny. Oh, it's funny, Mom.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's talk about the Olympics because I feel like I don't know if you've watched very much. I have.
I
I
haven't
have
watched
been.
any of it.
I've watched pretty much every night the big
Really? How
ones.
do you have the
Yeah.
time? Also, wait, where are you watching? I don't have cable.
Oh, well, you can watch on Peacock.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've been
But
watching something else on Peacock.
okay. Well, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern,
Did you see
we
the
watch.
breakdancing? I saw the breakdancing clips.
I saw a couple of them and I
I don't
couldn't
get it.
understand why why was that a gold medal win?
Well, it's really interesting. I yesterday, as part of my law school education, went to the National African American Museum of Music here in Nashville, which was not told it was going to be about music. I thought I was just going to like an African American history museum.
Mm.
So big surprise when I got there. But it's funny, the guy that was giving the presentation on it mentioned like breakdancing started, like a lot of other things, in the African American community. And it's kind of interesting how like that style of dance is the only dance to have made it to the Olympics so far.
That's really interesting. Huh. And it's weird that they call it breaking, not breakdancing. It's called breaking.
Yeah, I just feel like
Are they
that's probably
broken?
for classification purposes. Like,
Okay.
like people don't see dance as a sport, I guess. So maybe throwing that in there. And then also, I don't know, honestly, I feel like they should include more types of dance in the
Dance is hard,
Olympics.
but
Dance is hard. It's
I
also
guess
like a
it's,
very traditional sport.
but I guess it's like, I would imagine it's hard to judge. Like I just watched one thing of breaking because it didn't interest me at all. But I was like, how do they even judge this? Like, are there certain moves they have to do and then they score them based on how good they do the moves? I don't know.
I don't know. I
I
mean,
didn't really get it.
they're like for dance competitions, they have like those kinds of judges. So I'd
Yeah.
imagine something similar,
Yeah.
just about like the routine and like the mistakes you make, I guess, or lack of mistakes.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of wins. I know the US is doing very well.
Yeah. And it's been fun to watch the athletes and how they, one of the big things I talk about is positive affirmation, positive self-talk. And it is such a big thing in sports. I don't know if you're not in sports, how much you know about this, but there's a whole practice of psychology for it for athletes where they're taught how to talk to themselves, to build themselves up, not to break themselves down. And you could see it a lot during the Olympics. I mean, you saw Simone Biles stand up there and, before she did one of her routines, she's like, you got this. And Suni Lee, she has a whole positive affirmation practice where she journals, she has things that she says to herself. She really, I think many of them meditate. They really get themselves in that right mindset. And I think we all need to be doing this. I say it all the time. We all need to be doing this across all aspects of our lives because I do think it is such a powerful tool to change the way we see ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, they started showing, because of course, mental health became a big conversation during these Olympics because of Simone Biles being so willing to talk about things, which is amazing, right? When for so long, anything to do with mental health was taboo. And after the last Olympics where she pulled out, it's ridiculous some of the comments she received, but now really she's crediting her focus on her mental health as the reason that she was so successful in these games, because she wasn't letting things build up. She wasn't letting the negative comments that people made against her really affect her. She was able to, she even said on her I forget which day, she's like, yeah, I worked with my therapist this morning and
Yeah.
made a huge deal. Like, those things are important that we talk about.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I also think one of my favorite things that I've been seeing from the limited stuff I've been seeing is like other athletes supporting each other. And I guess it's the cool part of like social media being able to like document the inside of the Olympic Village and whatnot. But my favorite was the pole vaulter that broke his and the world record. And like all of his like not even teammates, like people from different countries telling him to, oh, just go do it one more time. I bet you can break it this time. And then he did.
Yeah.
That I think was really cool because I don't know, it's a big unification. You kind of think that, 2 months before this, I was like, we still are on the brink of like, crazy mass destruction happening all over the globe. And it's crazy that for like a month and a half, we can put some of that beside and like have all these countries in the same room competing in all of these different sports.
It is a really interesting thing, right? When you think about it, how cultures that really don't get along and religions that don't get along, but they can go and compete against each other and not only compete against each other, but support each other.
Yeah.
And gosh, it would be nice if the world took
yeah. And I think
away from that.
most of the time in the Olympics, everyone is pretty ethical. I mean, obviously, Russia doesn't compete right now as a nation because of unethicality within the Olympics. But like besides like that from a couple of years ago, no one else is like trying to like stab each other in the back in order of getting ahead, which is like such a common part of like global politics. But we set that all aside for the Olympics and just like have a good sports atmosphere.
I completely agree. And I think that watching these athletes celebrate each other,
Yeah.
watching them, who was the one that there was, I mean, we saw the thing with gymnastics where Simone Biles and was it Suni Lee? Yeah,
I think it was Suna,
yeah, they bowed down to the woman
yes,
who won
that was
gold,
super cute.
right?
For
And
their bar routines, I believe.
but they're not. Yes, obviously they're competing against each other, but really in individual sports, you're competing against yourself, right?
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
doing the best that you can do. So you can't blame anyone else if you did poorly or not. Like, and it is important to celebrate the other athletes. And I remember Simone Biles saying that, I think the woman's name is Andrade, the woman from Brazil. Can't think of her first name, sorry. But she makes her work harder. Like she makes her better because she knows that she's always neck and neck with her, and that, makes her want to not beat her, but makes her want to do better just for herself.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important part of Olympics.
I think it's really cool. I think I'm really mesmerized right now by Katie Ledecky. I watched one of her races. She's crazy. Like beast mode crazy, like subhuman. Like she's a new species of athletic that is insane.
Yeah, I mean, one of the races, she finished, and I think she sat there for 10 seconds before the next person came in. She's unbelievable. She's won the most gold medals of any athlete who's a woman.
Which is incredible.
And now she is, I think, one of the, I don't know if you call it flag bearer, torch bearer, or whatever for the closing game. She was invited for the closing ceremony.
I think it's really cool that with this Olympics, and I think the last couple of Olympics, like the focus is on female athletes. Because if you'd asked me, like, I'm a sports person. I don't really care about the Olympics, I guess, because the sport I care about is not in the Olympics. So don't really keep up that much. But seeing like before, if you asked me like who are famous Olympians, I'd been like Michael Phelps. Yeah. And now it's just all of these female athletes that are like blowing people out of the water with how talented they are. And I think that's so awesome of breaking so many glass ceilings for little girls, because it's like, I don't know, as a little girl, you're told not to focus about sports. And now we're seeing all these amazing female athletes crushing sports.
Yeah. And I think now, I mean, it should be, I don't know what everybody else says to their kids, like, do whatever makes you happy, right? Mm-hmm. There's no limits. Do whatever makes you happy. And yeah, watching some of these women, do I watch track and field during the year? No. Okay. No, I don't. But there's something special about it on the Olympics, watching people compete to be the best in the world. Just something so cool about that. And
Yeah.
watching how talented all of these athletes are when they're running the races, like the 100-meter, like you can't even see they're running so fast. Their feet are like a blur. It's like
Yeah.
unbelievable. But I think we can take a lot away from it, that how we should be acting. There's a couple times of how you shouldn't be acting, but really how we should treat other people, and that you come together for certain things. You even see the women on the US track team who are all competing against each other in the 100-meter, but then they come together to do the 100-meter relay.
Yeah.
So they have to learn how to work together, because that's real life.
Yeah. I mean, with the gymnastics team too, because in the end of the day, the big medal is the team winning. It's not the individual.
Yeah. And how supportive they are. And you can hear them like cheering for each other the whole time, even though technically they're competing against each other.
Yeah.
Right. So,
It's honestly so beautiful. Like it truly is, like the amount of camaraderie and just like support you can feel come out of these athletes, and also just like the amount of confidence, because while these people are so extraordinary, in the end of the day, they are just human like you and I. And it's like something about like normal people, I guess, being able to go up there and like they work their ass off and out there at the Olympics is really special, because they're not like celebrities, I guess, which are on this untouchable, ungodly like appearance level where they are just like not relatable for human beings.
yeah.
But
Oh,
within the Olympics, these people are so relatable. I mean, there's this one guy on the Danish team that his TikToks are like barely about his Olympic sport. They're literally about how he's obsessed with the chocolate muffins in the Olympic Village.
okay.
Yeah.
Your sister told me about that. That's hilarious. And think about the guy who literally knits while waiting in the
Yeah.
stands.
He knitted himself a little freaking holder for his medal. I saw that. I'd be doing that with crochet.
I mean, there's so many great things about this, about just being yourself. Like it goes back to that overall message about being yourself, and you're watching people just, they're living out their dreams and living out their lives. Like everything is happening right there. They're not changing who they are to be there, right?
And I also think it's really cool on like a US level. We are at like such a tumultuous time in our country. We're having probably one of the most polarizing elections that have happened, at least in my lifetime. I mean, there's been a lot, but this one I would say is particularly polarizing. And yet we are all able to gather in the same room and cheer on people while like our country while they run in the Olympics. Because I mean, doing some law school work recently, as of 2019, only 19% of the people in the country like trust the government or have like a sense of country unity. So it's kind of crazy that once again, we're able to put that all aside for a sporting event. And I think we can learn a lot from that. Like if we're able to unify over something, and that in the end of the day is not life or death, we should be able to unify over things that are life or death and things that will truly impact our everyday lives.
Yeah. I think we unify at certain times. So yes, the Olympics. The other thing is, we just had that huge storm that came through, and it's still going through our country. Like it's crazy to see all
we're
the way
missing out, but
the Northeast, how bad it is up there, the tornadoes, the flooding. I mean, you see homes just completely underwater. And in Sarasota, we had unprecedented rain here. And so you do see the community uniting to help those in need.
Yeah.
But I think it just sucks that it takes something either absolutely fantastic or absolutely horrific to be able to come together. Like, why can't we do that just all of the time? Why can't we be kind and compassionate and empathetic all of the time? Like, why does it have to take something major for us to be a good human?
I wish I had the answer to that.
Yeah, because
we did a personality test for our law school, and it was like the anagram personality test, which I don't know if anybody listening is familiar, but it's like different than the Myers-Briggs because there's like 9 on basic level. There's 9 types of people or 9 types of personalities, and then you kind of like shift between a couple of them, and you have wings or whatever. But like mine is the helper. So like I'm always I think that adds up.
What number are you?
Number 2.
No, I can't remember what mine is, but I am like number 7 and 8.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so
that's yeah. Those are like the high achieving controllers.
yeah, I have a control issue.
But that's where my thing is that the helper goes to controlling when she gets stressed, and then she goes to creativity when she's not.
Oh wait, no, I think I'm the enthusiast. That's
Oh
7. I don't know. I got to
yeah,
look it up. Whatever. I got to look it up. And then the challenger and the peacemaker. I think I was
I
between
was a peacemaker.
those.
That's my number 2.
Yeah, I'll have to
But
look at it. But
yeah, it's kind of interesting in that way. I don't know. That was an interesting like little assessment that we did, but it kind of the whole point of doing it was to learn how to better interact with people, I guess, and like seeing someone else's like strengths and weaknesses. Um, and it's interesting that it takes like an assessment like that to learn how to get along, I guess.
well, think about it in real life. So you have your love language, right? And
Yeah.
your love language may not, and this goes back to the anagram test too. It is probably not going to match the person that you're dating, probably not going to match the person that you're working with. So you have to figure out how to work with other people, right? I mean, we talk about love languages. I get things like I like to get things done. I forget what that one is, but your dad he wants a hug all day long, right? That's just not me. So it's
Yeah.
figuring out how do you compromise on these things. Like my way of showing my love is by doing things, right? Getting everything done, making sure things are, well, I'd say organized, but your dad would say I'm not organized. So, but there's a little bit messy piles around the house right now, just trying to
Yeah.
get organized. But it is interesting how that affects how you work with people. But I want to go back to the Olympics again. We got like on an offshoot there because one of the things I want to talk about, you talked about celebrities and kind of not being as approachable or whatever. Can we talk about Snoop Dogg for a second here?
Did you see he's going on The Voice, Mom?
Yes, he's on The Voice now.
He's doing a team with Michael Bublé and Gwen Stefani. Guys, Mom is obsessed with The Voice, like absolutely obsessed with The Voice. Yeah. And they're doing these mega teams now. And that's just unfair. They're covering too much in one group.
Yeah, I don't know. I will see when it starts. I'll watch and whatever. But
he's awesome.
He made the Olympics so much better. But here, I saw this really funny post that a mom says to her son, "Oh my gosh, my favorite part of the Olympics is I was watching Snoop Dogg and, meeting with all the people, whatever." And he's like, the kid says, "Well, that's funny because I remember getting grounded for buying his album."
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really funny. Snoop Dogg is someone that is like, I don't know. I think it's just interesting is watching like his cultural shift because like, I don't know, 20 years ago, he was on trial for murder.
His relationship with Martha Stewart is like unbelievable. And one of the funniest things and one of the most, it's heartwarming, honestly, like to watch them together. She's like teaching him about dressage. Like they're watching dressage and they're wearing the full outfits. I don't know because you haven't watched, I don't know if you've seen all this stuff, but they're literally wearing the full dressage outfits with the hat and jacket. And
that is another thing, by the way, dressage. I mean, I know you're an equestrian, so you get it, but the people that don't, like the control that you have to have over your horse to make them dance like that is insane.
It's a partnership, right? I mean, it really is. Like the horse has to trust you. Yes, you have to be able to trust the horse and you have to be spot on. And your body is like solid as a rock. Like when I used to ride, I was so strong. Not anymore. Like,
I think it's cool that those are the oldest. Plus, there's one guy in skateboarding that's like in his 40s, and then everybody else is the oldest athletes are the equestrians.
Except for there was one woman for table tennis.
Oh, that's dope.
In her 60s, maybe even 70. I don't remember, but she was older. But yeah, so watching Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg, watching her teach him about dressage, watching him go to all the different events and sit with the different families Like it was so
Oh
cute
yeah.
how he was just so into it and cheering on the swimmers. And I enjoyed it. I thought like it was a great idea to do that. And I mean, the commentary was hilarious. He was like, how do these horses do
Yeah.
that?
There's always this thing that's like we should always include like one normal person in Olympic sports so we realize how hard they are actually. But I think he is a good way of like bringing it down for us to realize, holy crap, like that was actually really hard, and we're judging these athletes based off something we could never even try to do.
Yeah, they had him run. And I mean, he still did good. I mean, he ran. And but the times were crazy, right? And the same thing, he got in the pool with Michael Phelps. That was probably the funniest one where he's trying to do freestyle, picking his head out of the water, and it's but this I think a lot of times we watch sports and you see a lot of people with football, they get so frustrated with the different players. And I'm like, have you tried it? And go out there. Like
My favorite, I love NFL. First of all, love the NFL. I love NFL mic'd up. They will mic up like a player on the home team a game and you get the best clips out of it. But one of my favorites, it's a Dolphins player, I believe. And this guy's like booing at him in the front row. And he goes, it's just a game. It's literally just a game, bro. But
that's pretty
like,
funny.
yeah, it is. And also what you guys are doing, what all athletes are doing are quite impressive. Things I could never accomplish.
Yeah. And it really is for them. I mean, tying it back to what we're talking about, celebrating wins, like getting to the Olympics is a huge win. I think she was a springboard diver from the US. It was heartbreaking. I didn't watch it because I had already heard what happened. But during her dive, I think her feet hit the board and she got zero for it.
Yeah.
And she was doing really well. And can you imagine, like, you've worked so hard and you make one mistake and your whole thing, I mean,
Yeah.
a zero. And she was just heartbroken. And it was so nice to see her dad was talking to her about it, and she was like, had cried so much. She was in the stage,
Yeah.
where he was like, I'm just so proud of you. I'm so proud of how hard you worked. And, today just wasn't your day. That's it. That's all it
Yeah.
was. And she goes, yep, today, it wasn't for me today. It wasn't for me today. And she was repeating it to herself because I think we get so caught up in thinking that when we make a mistake, when we fail at something, that we're then a failure, right? Which is not true. Like it is a single moment in time that something happened and we have to be able to move forward. And so watching these athletes who are competing at the highest level be able to recover from a stumble, a fall, whatever, and be able to still go back out there and get back up again. You watch riders who get thrown from their horse and they get back up again because that is one moment in time. And I think that's how we have to think about it. It's not that, oh, we failed, we're never going to do it again. It was like, well, that sucks. Get back up again, and here's what I learned.
Yeah. Do you think the Olympics pay for the horses to get there?
They have to. I mean, I don't know how, or they get sponsors. I don't.
The countries pay for it.
We
That's
were,
really interesting because that's probably the most expensive part. Like you could book everybody else on economy, but like that horse, those horses are worth more than a lot of people's cars.
Oh, they're worth tons of money. So I don't know how it works. I mean, obviously there's special planes for shipping horses, but we were actually talking about this when we were watching the 3-day eventing because they were talking about the process of bringing the horses in. So obviously having it in Paris is really nice for everyone that's in the EU because so all of these different countries can drive their horses.
Or they can train them. Yeah, like isn't that an unfair advantage? Because your horse has to like be on a plane.
I think these horses are so used to competing at such a high level that they do travel all over. I mean, they do the world champions and stuff like that. So I do think they are used to doing it. They also bring them in. I think it's 15 days, they said early. They have
so you have time to acclimate. That's
acclimate to the different, and it was hot there. So
yeah. The Olympics are crazy. I can't believe Paris promised to get that river clean and then didn't. Did you see?
No.
I think Swiss officials have reported that one of their people have gotten sick, one of the triathletes, and
They had to
then
drop off.
one of the countries had to pull out because their person got so sick.
Yeah.
That was so dumb. Like, no offense, but they didn't put the effort in. If you said you were going to have this river cleaned, you should have started cleaning it the minute you knew Paris was going to host the Olympics.
Yeah. I don't know if they realized how bad it was going to be, which is kind of scary.
That is kind of scary. But also, Paris doesn't have a lot of sewer systems. A lot of the old buildings, they feed directly into the river.
Okay, that's gross.
Yes.
That's gross. We had, with this storm that just happened here, we have every area from Sarasota up has had tons of sewage spill into the ocean. So there's all kinds of
don't go swimming.
Go in the water.
Don't
go in the water. Don't do it.
Had someone told me yesterday that they got Hep A from their school's dining hall.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, I got amoebic dysentery from swimming in the water.
Okay, yeah, that was the Amazon River, Mom, not your dining hall.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So that was weird.
So let's finish off with just talking a bit about confidence, and let's relate it back to the Olympics because, I mean, is her name Jordan Childs, the other
yes.
US? Okay, so I read a story about her where she actually, after the last Olympics, she just felt she was done. She wanted to, I want to say hang up her shoes, but she's not wearing shoes. She wanted to hang up her uniform. She wanted to be done. She just couldn't handle the negativity that she was getting from people. And Simone Biles invited her to move out to Texas and train at her gym. And that's what she did. And supposedly, again, it's a story, so who knows what's really real. The first thing they worked on was building her confidence.
Yeah.
So that she could handle when someone said a negative comment. Because when someone says a negative comment, it's about the person who's saying it, right? It's not, if I say something negative about you, it's because there's something going on with me. It has nothing to do with you, right? Why do I need to say something negative about somebody else? So that was really, I think, such an important thing to see how she had to build her confidence back up, right? Confidence is a skill, right? You build it. You build it by doing the things you think you can't. You build it by taking chances. You build it from the inside out. And I think it's so important that we remind ourselves of that all the time. So with our new podcast, we are going to be talking about confidence on every episode and tips and tricks to help you really think about that on a regular basis. And confidence isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about that inner calmness that you have, it's the inner confidence that you're unshakable.
Yeah. Yeah. My law professor said something like that yesterday, that the way that you're actually going to get through it is believing in yourself. And that the kids that did very poorly in the beginning, but were able to catch up and really get through it, were because of the positive affirmations and like the actual, like, I believe in myself. I'm not just doing the work, but I know that this work is actually good.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk to that teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a really holistic method of teaching at my school that, I mean, anybody can do, well, not everybody can do the work, but anybody could, in theory, do the work. It's about, believing in yourself to truly do it.
And taking that first step. So you have to, believing in yourself is part of building confidence, but you've got to move forward, right? So I can say I believe in myself all day long, but if I'm not doing the work, then it's kind of hard to get it all done. But yeah, I love that. I think this is going to be a great 3 years for you.
An exhausting 3 years for me.
Yeah, well, I know. I don't get to talk to you as much already, so it's a little sad for me.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, should we wrap up?
Yeah, tell me.
It's a good one. You'll like it, Mom.
You're un-F yourself. I guess we'll keep the F word out of it.
Change begins in a single moment. You can start today. You can begin that moment now.
I love that. I completely agree with that. I just think that stop looking at the past. The only thing to look at in the past is what you learned from it. Decide what you want to be doing tomorrow and take that first step and move forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us on our inaugural episode of Her Unshakable Confidence, and obviously a continuation of the Daughter Dearest podcast. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Her Unshakable Confidence with Simone and Olivia Knego. We hope this episode has made your day just a little bit brighter and given you the inspiration you need to confidently go about your week. Always remember to be authentically you. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And feel free to connect with them on Instagram at Simone Knego and at Olivia Knego. Till next time.